Josh Allen. Good. Generational. Dan was somehow right about Josh Allen 3 years ago. 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions, 3 in the red zone, 0-2 last 2 games. Let's go back. 6 interceptions, 1 fumble in the last 3 games. The Bills.
I like the idea of Dan sitting back in his chair like, told you.
Were you happy about that yesterday? I mean,
vindication, Dan. Do your victory lap.
It's weird. Dan. He leads the league in interceptions, and they're just giant disaster plays.
A wise man once said, "You can't coach that out of somebody." And look at you. It took a couple seasons, but you're right again.
And he could have thrown more interceptions than that, and they're just terrible. They're terrible.
Miss the playoffs. They're on the bubble right now. The Jets are going to make the playoffs for the Bills.
They're in 3rd place.
Justin Herbert.
rather have him than Tua.
Justin Herbert's season this year is the same numerically as Tua's rookie year.
Allen and Herbert have thrown 12 interceptions since Tua threw his last one.
What?
Stat of the day.
Let's play a game, guys. It's called 2022 or 2022 Herbert. 64.1% completion percentage, 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 6.3 yards per attempt, 6-3 record. Tua or Herbert?
You see that the highest third-year passer rating to anyone belongs to Tua. It's over Hurts and Josh Allen. Yes, ever. So far, his passer rating. And on third down, the last 3 weeks, his passer rating is 158.3, 158.3, 153.4.
Dan, it's not just that. Tua leads the league in QBR. He has more 300-yard, 3-touchdown games than Dan Marino. He's Pro Football Focus's QB #1, ESPN's QBR number 1. He also leads the league in fuck you, haters.
Yeah, attaboy.
He doesn't have more 300-yard game, 3-touchdown games than Dan Marino, but with no interceptions is what he's done. Like, he's had 3 in a row. Yeah.
When he starts a game and finishes a game, they don't lose the game. I mean,
now he's got a complimentary running game.
I know.
That came out of nowhere.
Oof.
He can only do it with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle getting 150 yards a game. No, not the case. He passed to like 8 people yesterday for like 60 yards each.
So pinpoint is the thing. Like the accuracy is crazy.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. That especially when they get the running game going, which yesterday was really the first time they got it going. But once he has that going, McDaniel can call anything, and it's beautiful. It's fun to watch the dog. Not only are they winning, they're the most entertaining team, I feel like, in the NFL right now.
You know what's crazy? When you think of Tua in college, this is what we thought he was going to be like as a pro.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in the middle of the team,
the injuries,
breaking his back. And,
no, wait a minute. I don't think anyone's allowed to assume that this is what he was
come
going.
on.
This is what he was
going.
When he came in that national championship game and won it against Georgia.
Yes.
We all saw it right then and there. Like, this guy's going to be a superstar. And then
every week in the SEC was 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's what I was excited about.
That's how Tank for Tua was born.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, there is a reason why he was the most sought after draft prospect and would have gone #1 no problem before that injury.
Yeah. Pre-injury, this is what was promised. And he's delivering on that. And I mean, he had really bad injuries. That hip injury was no joke. So for him to recover and be paired with this head coach in this offense, which, again, they finally have the running back. The biggest addition by subtraction ever was just getting Chase Edmonds out of here.
That's crazy.
And now you have Jeff Wilson, who came in a separate deal, and he knows how to explode through these wide-open holes. You read the stat that Chase Edmonds left more yards on the table than any running back.
Than any team in the NFL before he got traded.
And I don't know that we in analysis knew that. I don't know that we knew watching. I knew he was not successful. It's 8 carries for 15 yards. It's like, why can't they run the ball? I thought Mike McDaniel was supposed to bring that here. And
now speak for yourself, man. Chase Edmonds was garbage all season
Mike,
long.
I didn't like have that quantified until he got
That's pretty
traded.
damning.
And then you see these stats that he was expected to average 5 yards a carry and average 3. He's leaving 2 yards per carry on the table.
A couple times where you're screaming at your TV, why are you running that direction?
But at the time, we all thought it was a great signing, right? Like, he's going to
Chase
work in
Edmonds?
that offense. Yeah.
I mean, I just assumed any running back would be able to be productive in that offense. So I was like, yeah, Chase Edmonds would probably be a good fantasy player.
And you presume that Mike McDaniel would choose running backs that would perfectly fit his scheme.
Right.
And he's just ended up trading for a couple that he knew in San Francisco that can just do the job. And they've come in and they just do their job. Their job is to adequately execute a zone running scheme, and Wilson has added more on top of that. He's broken some big runs, and he's bowled some people over. But for the most part, the job is to just do what I tell you. Run through the hole. It's going to be there, I promise.
you can nitpick at this by saying, well, the last 3 opponents stink. The previous 2 games before this one were very close games that they could have lost. I'm telling you that even if they had lost them, what I'm enthused by is that all the things you dreamed about with this quarterback and this receiver and these coaches make them so exciting that you're expecting on 3rd and long for them to convert stuff, where you're looking at A.J. Brown and he goes into the game catching 16 yards a pass and the only guy ahead of him is Waddle because of how they extend the field and the way that they're playing along the offensive line where there are no sacks. And this can't be lost because, yeah, the Browns are bad, but Myles Garrett dominates all the time. Like, all the time, I'm terrified that he's going to blindside a quarterback. I guess he wouldn't blindside this one very much because he's left-handed, but Nick Chubb's great. And he had 1 carry worth anything yesterday. Their front 4 is going to get pressure if they stay healthy. They were getting pressure 5 against 6, and they were getting pressure 4 against 5.
Well, if they say healthy is already a problem because
Tua
Ogba's
stays
done.
healthy.
Oh, okay. But I was, in terms of their pass rush, Ogba was a key piece of that, and he's done.
While the Browns are not good record-wise, they have great running game, and they weren't able to do anything yesterday. And defensively, they were able to keep Waddle and Hill from doing it. They couldn't do anything yesterday. Like, they weren't really factors in the game, and it didn't matter at all.
The degree to which the Dolphins move the ball, and it feels like they only get in their own way. When there's a drive that stalled because of a fumbled snap. There's a drive where they have a 2nd and 1 and they can't get a yard in 3 plays, and one of them they try to put the tight end under center to run a QB sneak. That it just seems like they are their only impediment to gaining offense. You turn on football on a Sunday and you want the Dolphins game to be on as a neutral.
It's amazing.
It's unbelievable.
First time this century for me.
Yeah. First time in my life.
Makes sense.
First time in my life
the Pennington season? I mean,
don't forget that one.
I mean,
fun season.
The
Wildcat was fun to watch.
It was fun.
Yeah, no, but go look at the numbers on their scoring totals that season. It's not 39 points, which should have been 41. Jason Sanders is going to be a problem.
I said that last week. Keep
you're
an eye
right
on him.
about
That's
that.
in my notes.
No,
keep an eye on him.
Keep an eye on Jason Sanders. Is going to be a problem. I wouldn't be surprised if he got cut at some point.
You guys see the stats on him from 50 yards? From 50
he
yards,
hasn't made one this year.
2 of 9. 2 of 9.
So he's going to be a problem at some point. But until then, let's just enjoy this offense. We've never seen the Dolphins where from the start of the game, I'm like, all right, they're moving it, touchdown, moving it. And every time they step on the field, I expect them to score a touchdown.
Well, that's it. I was going to ask you, have you arrived at the point where you're surprised when they don't score?
Yes.
Because I have.
Yes, I'm surprised when they don't score. I'm surprised when Tua doesn't convert 3rd downs. I'm surprised when he misses throws. It's astounding how good they are.
Now that they have the running game going, they're going to win more like that than they've been winning previously. I thought the most impressive thing from Mike McDaniel this year was that he was finding new ways to win, because a Kyle Shanahan inspired offense does it with that running game that we saw yesterday. When he has a running game cooking like that, it's an absolute delight to watch.
It's 10 yards a carry, and you're like, I can't believe that these openings are everywhere. And to your point on, are they stoppable? Tua is best in the league versus man. And now, because he's so good against man, 33% of his dropbacks are against man. because they've stopped doing it, and it's the lowest since they've been tracking this stuff. So they don't know how to play against him. And when you're just, okay, our guys are going to be better than your guys. No, they're not. They're not going to be, because we're not even going to try it, because we know we're not going to try and man up on Waddle and Hill.
Right.
We can't do it.
Right. Even though Tua deserves a lot of credit for that set. You said that set. I'm like, that's a Waddle and Hill set, because they're unguardable, because they're these speed demons that you can't put a man on them because they're faster than any mortal man.
Things are starting to become clearer, Dan. 4 games ago, 1,230 yards ago, 10 touchdowns and 0 interceptions ago, Dr. Quack came on, and so did everybody else, and they said Tua should retire. And we thought that this was a safety thing.
Should charge him with murder.
I think that what happened is...
You guys were scared when he ran 7 yards in the next game.
I think what happened here is people saw what was possible, and they didn't want this in the league.
Yeah.
People were afraid of what Tua could become.
Ben Inamala was trying to protect the league from Tua.
Amin's third eye just opened on that.
Football Illuminati coming soon.
Coincidentally, since that hit, he's only been sacked twice. 3 of the 4 games have been without a sack. That might be the most startling part of all of it. But they kept him clean.
Which is it, though? You're saying kept him clean, but his confidence and precision are such that I believe their offensive line is better than I thought it would be. I also think he's making decisions so quickly that it's Brady. Brady's offensive line often doesn't matter unless the pressure's right up the middle, because he's getting rid of the ball. He's on his third read on within 3 seconds because of how open his receivers are getting.
Orlovsky talks all the time about his eyes being among the best in football, the way that he moves, manipulates defense, gets to secondary options. But to Billy's point yesterday,
look who's joined the party, by the way.
One quarterback.
But to Billy's point, yesterday there was a lot of Sherfield, there was a lot of Alec Ingold, there was using the tight ends in the flat. Like they use the fullback better than any team. I'm startled by how good Mike McDaniel has been as coach of the Dolphins, and putting Tua in this position. Everything that we talk about surrounding a young quarterback with in order to put him in a position to succeed, they've done it in abundance. And now with a running game, Wilson 7 yards a carry, Mostert 8 yards a carry. I don't even know what to do. They have a bye, then they're home with the Texans.
You don't want them to have a bye. You don't want them to have a bye.
No, can they put somebody else on the schedule?
Got a scrimmage going.
Yeah.
I mean, they might lose. They play the Texans out of the bye, and then you go into the difficult stretch in December. But
bye.
I can't wait to watch this team every week.
That December is going to be so much fun, because all 4 teams have a chance at winning that division. They all play each other the last 4 weeks of the season.
Billy, is Whittingham allowed to be excited about these things? Are you allowing it? The NFL on Fox's fans have voted to a MVP.
Yeah. And game of the year. That was before yesterday's game, which, by the way, yesterday's game was not Dolphins-Ravens. Okay, like, let's pipe down with yesterday was game of the year.
I don't know, Billy.
Yesterday was a game of mistakes, a game of blunders, please. We shouldn't be celebrating that as great. It was a disaster. No one could execute. Embarrassing.
I think Justin Jefferson was executing.
Just fine. Yeah.
How did he do that?
He's incredible.
They said that since they've been tracking that stuff, he had 9 balls that should have been 50-50 balls, that no one's ever had that kind of game. And earlier in the day, I thought with Sutton and Diggs that I saw 2 of the greatest catches I've ever seen. And then I'm like, no, he's had like 4 of them in the fourth quarter. Jefferson, has that game I pooped myself.
So did Josh Allen.
Billy, how happy did that make you see? You're seeing the disaster place. The Dolphins trade for Chubb, and I'm like, should they go all in? Because that victory over the Bills the Dolphins had was kind of fluky, and it was the heat. And I don't
shut your mouth.
I don't think they're as good as the Bills. And then yesterday, that is their Achilles heel. Josh Allen leading the league in interceptions is why Billy doesn't trust the Bills.
And they tried to cheat to give him a chance there. That Gabe Davis catch was not a catch. That hit the ground, but that let him get back in it.
That's on the referees, though, on the NFL. It's not on anyone else.
Yeah, no, well,
they need to stop the game.
The fix
there.
was in on that
right.
one. Yeah.
We also need definitive technology to show whether or not Kirk Cousins was in. Can we figure out some way?
He wasn't.
Put something on the ball.
I felt like he was.
I thought so too.
Have a camera angle that's not blocked by the referee's foot. Can we have something to show?
That was laugh out loud funny when you finally thought that you had an angle that you could see whether or not the ball would cross and the ref's foot is blocking it. I am more certain than ever watching the Dolphins game and that Bills game that the Dolphins can win in December against Buffalo, because Buffalo showed you, outside of the interceptions, they're kind of a front-running team. They're not really built to stop the run. Dalvin Cook ate them up a little bit, and my whole big concern with Miami is this is not how a Shanahan offense wins. They got to start. That's how the Niners are always in the conversation late in the game playing their best football, is because the running game is going. That's what helps win in the playoffs. You keep Josh Allen off the field, and now they're finally getting the running game going.
Well, are you saying that because of one game? Like, are they?
I think that the acquisition...
Wilson's been great the 2 games.
The acquisition of Jeff Wilson and giving Mostert more carries and giving running backs that are just familiar with this offense over Chase Edmonds is immense for this team, because the holes are there. And I understand keeping to a clean sense of concussions. It should be noted that Armstead was a very good signing, and he's starting to be a little bit healthier and a little bit more consistent. Therefore, the line is getting a little bit better. A team with that running game paired with those wide receivers that can win you a game with just one heave, and this quarterback that's playing as good as anyone in the league right now. And they made the acquisition of Bradley Chubb. I know that they lost Ogba, but now you're seeing the teams that have – this team has something sustainable that can win when the weather gets bad.
So you're saying on the road, at Kansas City, at Buffalo, you have confidence the Dolphins can win.
If they don't win their division, if they don't win in their division, they're going to have to go into a lot of bad weather games in the postseason, you would think. Maybe they got lucky with retractable roofs, but you're going to have to control the game somewhat on the ground. It can't just be Tyreek Hill go deep. If you're dealing with 30-mile-per-hour winds and driving snow, it's not going to be there for you, so you got to win another way.
It is noteworthy, though, that the last 2 opponents are Pro Football Focus run defense 30 and 31, and the next one is 32. So it will require that December sample of playing at San Francisco, at the Chargers, at the Bills, Packers, Patriots. Then we'll kind of learn whether this running game is for real. But it's great early signs. You love seeing Jeff Wilson, again, just execute his job and then some. Mostert with a long touchdown as well. It's great to see the Dolphins be able to run the ball, because like Mike has been saying from day one, that's the McDaniel-Shanahan offense, is they run the ball to set up the pass, and it's sort of been the opposite so far.
Let me read you guys some stats. Tua is the 7th quarterback in the last 56 years to have 3 touchdown passes and a passer rating over 135 in 3 straight games. That's from Football Perspective. Since the concussion, 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in 4 games. What you guys say about the Dolphins' rushing offense and gaining traction against the Browns? That's obviously almost 200 yards, 6 yards a carry. Jeff Wilson, 119 yards, and then Mostert with 65 yards. And what I was saying to you, Mike, is that I could tell you that Chase Edmonds was terrible. I could not tell you that the Dolphin offensive line was providing the holes that you saw yesterday, because he wasn't running through them. When I'm watching the game for half the season, I'm like, where's the stuff I was promised on McDaniel? Where's the 10-yard chunk runs where you just keep handing the ball off and you're going first down to first down?
So that's how I knew Chase Edmonds was bad. It's because I had Shanahan's and McDaniel's offensive careers.
Yeah, but I had last year's offensive line, which is among the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, but those coaches make any running back good.
And they changed some of the offensive linemen as well.
I was so certain that to me was the biggest upset throughout the entire season up to this point, was that how are they doing this without controlling the game? Because they are not playing the way. Yeah, it's fun to watch just Tyreek Hill streaking down the field. You can't count on that come January. He'll do it occasionally, but with this kind of clip, how sustainable is that? They got to get the running game going, and now they've put themselves in position. As a running game comes more and more online, they have this great record now. They control their own destiny within the division, and now they have a team that's actually built to win on the road if they slip up. Because, look, Buffalo is going to turn it around. This just seems like a midseason lull.
But these might be home games in the playoffs, Mike.
It depends on how serious this Josh Allen injury is. Too.
Enough with the injury. Okay, Josh Allen. Here's how it works. If you're injured, you don't play. If you play, you're not injured. I'm tired of these excuses of people are injured and that's why they don't do well. If you're good enough to play, you're good enough not to have the injury be an excuse.
Didn't we just say that the hip for Tua was something that held him back?
No.
Okay, we didn't just say that.
Don't worry about that.
This is from Brett Eisen. He says, and I did not realize this. I did realize that the Dolphins hadn't punted. They've only punted once in the last 2 games. It's only the 5th time in franchise history that has not happened, and the first time since 2003.
Wow.
Where they go an entire game without punting. And this is from excommunicado Tim Reynolds. The last time the Dolphins were 7-3, 2001. That is 24 starting quarterbacks ago, 8 head coaches ago, 7 stadium names ago. The Heat had 0 titles. LeBron was in high school. The iPhone was 6 years away. McDaniel was a Yale freshman. Tom Brady was a first-year starter.
He did one of those. What was going on?
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Oh.
It's been a long time.
We've arrived at an NFL that you've wanted to be at for a long, long time. Every coach, even Mike McCarthy, is going for it on 4th down. Like, are you happy about that?
I don't think he should have.
Look at that!
Not in that situation. Kick the field goal, win the game.
Oh, what a shining testament to how Aaron Rodgers has been betrayed his entire career with those 2 buffoon coaches. How many times do we have to ask aloud, what is LaFleur doing? How many times before we realize maybe he's never going to figure it out?
How many times? How many times?
You guys watch that game the way I did and are like, okay, we're going Aaron Rodgers, handoffs the whole game.'re going to discover Christian Watson together, and he's going to score 3 touchdowns.
Coming out party.
But the Cowboys were, when starting a 4th quarter up by 14 points, they were 195-0.
What? Wait, say that again?
Yes. In the last 195 games that they had started a 4th quarter leading by 14 points, they hadn't lost any of them.
I'd say Zeke would be a part of that, but the running game was working just fine yesterday. Also, Aaron, I understand why he was mad in that situation. It wasn't great decision-making by LaFleur, but Aaron, you don't have to throw that ball away in that scenario.
You could have run.
He could have ran for the 1st down, or if you don't want to take the hit or risk it, just go down, have Dallas burn a timeout. He's a smart football player. He did like the dumbest possible thing in that spot. And then he took it out on LaFleur.
Man, I told y'all about Aaron Rodgers at the beginning of the year. This is what he wants, man. He wants to be surrounded by ineptitude so that whenever he does not achieve what we think his greatness should achieve,
he can blame them.
He can blame them. It's like, oh, poor Aaron Rodgers. He's got a bad coach. He has no wide receivers. It's all a front, man.
I didn't like that big hug between him and McCarthy.
It's fake.
Not a fan.
He said, I love you. I think he said, I love you.
I feel like if we go back 3 or 4 years, that was
So
not
fake.
the case.
So
I didn't
fake,
like
yeah.
that.
Guy came on this show, wasn't he? Like talking shit about McCarthy after he left.
Well, he does that thing where he just stays quiet as Dan talks shit about all the other coaches that betrayed him, and there's an ample opportunity for Aaron Rodgers to say, "Hey, man, no, he's a good coach," but he never takes
says it. Yeah.
He never takes it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like. You know what I like, and obviously I'm biased here. I like the Tua. Hey, did you go see Brian Flores? He's like, nope. Didn't talk to him. Nope.
That's all he said. It was a one-syllable
one
quote.
word. Nope.
McCarthy made his way on the field in the Lombardi jacket, did he not? Or came back to Lambeau?
Got there at 9 a.m. Enough of him. I will say it was a great coat, though. I was surprised that McCarthy was capable of being that fashionable. It was a great coat.
Mike Ryan, why are you holding your belly?
He's so proud of himself.
How he walked in? Because he looked good.
You know,
I'm back here. I'm a good coach now.
Pretty straight laced, but having fun.
Fashionable, huh?
I got a prop, huh? I'm back.
Somebody told him he looked great in the morning, and he showed up filled with swaggering confidence to the stadium.
He looked like he was sucking it in the whole time, right?
It's like the meme where it's like, I can't wait for the weather to change so I can really start dressing. It's like that. He had to do it to him.
Mike, you're criticizing LaFleur today. They win. They win as a dog. Dallas is better than they are. They'd lost 5 straight. This has been as incompetent a stretch as you've seen from Aaron Rodgers, and the ball was taken out of his hands yesterday. They just ran the ball the entire game and tried to wear down Dallas. They're down 14 points in the 4th quarter. and then they rally to win the game somehow, and these drives are not what you're used to seeing from Aaron Rodgers. It's handing the ball to Aaron Jones, and he's doing Marshawn Lynch, diving into the end zone backward and grabbing his crotch.
And there were seeds of him. I know he took it out on LaFleur later. He really wanted to take it out on Watson, where he threw a dime and Watson just didn't turn for the ball. But if that is indeed the coming out party, we started seeing some signs of, he can start reliably going to some receivers deep. It's been kind of a perfect storm because they did address the receivers, not with the names that we were all clamoring for, but they're taking a pragmatic approach to develop some of these players, and with that comes frustrations. On top of all of that, those players have been dealing with injuries, so he hasn't even had that available to him. But I don't blame LaFleur for going to the running game, considering Aaron Rodgers looked just about as bad as we've ever seen last week against a really bad Lions defense.
They're one of the best running teams in the NFL. Like, that's their strength. I know they have. It sounds crazy to say that. They have Aaron Rodgers, maybe the greatest we've ever seen. But this year and this year alone, their strength is Aaron Jones. It's running the football. That's how they're going to win football games.
I don't even think that offensively they were that bad the week before against the Lions when they had 8 points. If you think of the turnovers from Aaron Rodgers inside the 5, they can move the ball.
Oh, but Amin can speak to this on what this is going to feel like to Aaron Rodgers, because they will move the ball, running the ball, and have no chance of winning the title that way. And Aaron Rodgers is probably feeling some of what Russell Westbrook feels. Like, I mean, Dan Marino at the end didn't want Jimmy Johnson telling him not to audible. Like, you're taking the football out of my hands, and some guys want to win, and some guys want to be the reason for winning.
Yes. That they like, one is money, 1A is winning, 1A Roman numeral 1 is I want to be the reason why we won.
Well, the only way they've ever won, though, is he's the reason they win.
He can still be the reason they win.
Well, he wasn't yesterday.
But he also
still had 3 touchdowns and no interceptions.
Yeah, he led the fourth quarter comeback. He gets plenty of credit for that. But also, this is the same guy who in the press was talking about we need to simplify the offense. Well, what is simplifying the offense if not give the ball to Aaron Jones? He can average 6 yards a carry against the Dallas Cowboys.
He ain't mean that simple. He's talking about simplify the offense for the receivers, right? Because they're young.
For everyone.
They're dumb, but the idea that you turn into kind of this weird game manager is something that he definitely did not have in mind.
It's still going to be hard for them to make the playoffs, so they're
it's
2
gonna be
games
impossible.
back.
Every team in the NFC is in the mix. Every single team. There's not a single team. AFC, you have one team who's out of it. NFC, because of the wild card and the third team, they're all right there.
But there's
crazy.
There's a gulf though. The seventh seed right now is the Niners. They got a 2-game advantage on the Packers.
Like, if you
it's
here's the
hard
thing
for them to make up. They got to basically run the table.
If you're one of the not having a great year teams in the NFC, you have to win your division because the NFC East is sending like a bunch of teams. So now if you're not winning your division, it's going to be real hard. The Niners have that 7, I think, on lock, right?
They're 5-4. Commanders 4-5. I can't believe I'm saying that.
I still think the Niners end up winning their division. So the team that you got to catch up.
Wait a second. Are you trying to bet against my guy Gino?
I think that's a more attainable team. Yeah,
attainable. Wow. See.
Do you guys believe when Stugotz says coming out party for Watson? Have you seen a whole lot of coming out parties that are someone who hasn't done very much this season getting to the end zone and after his 3rd touchdown in the end zone, counting with his fingers 1, 2, 3?
Before we answer that excellent question, I just like to point out the humor in you saying, do you guys believe when Stugotz says, just end it right there? No, I don't.
Thank you.
Packers have games at Eagles on Sunday Night Football. That's in 2 weeks. I mean, they have the Titans on Thursday Night Football this week. That's not an easy matchup. They have to go to the Dolphins on Christmas Day. They still have to play the Vikings one more time. I don't see how they make up this ground. That Lions
Billy,
game was
you
a
invited
season
Rodgers
ender.
to your house for Christmas. I mean,
Yeah, and then he declined. I don't like this, by the way. It is rude. I invited him to my house for Christmas. I invited Chris Sims to my house to stay over if he ever wanted to. I told him he could sleep on my couch. Everybody says, no, I'd rather stay at Dan or Stugotz's place for these holidays. Well, guess what? Uninvited. You can't come over.
Rescinded.
No more lechon for Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, buddy. I tried to offer you the stuff. Next day, it's just as good as the day before. Not anymore. Take that L, get on the plane, and head home with no leftovers from the Gill household.
I want to
boy.
know the last time
Got him.
Billy Gill was this excited about the Miami Dolphins.
About any team.
This would have been pre-college, would it not? This would have been you were a young boy the last time you were learning fandom. When's the last time you felt this way about a Dolphin team?
I don't know, Dan. I mean, I feel like I've always believed in them. I feel like I've been the Dolphins guy on this show for some time now. You know what I mean? It's just this year they're finally proving right all the faith that I've had in them over the years.
Tuanon gets to win, right? Tuanon is winning across the galaxy right now.
They're being pretty chill about it though.
Watt makes such an
Oh, I know.
It's just crazy.
He had like 2 plays on the first defensive series that were just like, what? How? I think he's underrated, even though he's the reigning defensive player of the year.
How is he underrated?
He's underrated because the sort of the avatar for good defense is Aaron Donald. He gets 100% of the unstoppable defensive force sort of credit. When you watch a Rams game, anytime they're on defense, it's all the attention to Aaron Donald. And TJ Watt, I don't feel like gets that. He doesn't get this is the unstoppable force that you have to worry about. He's still sort of in the shadow of his brother in that way. And I think that TJ Watt should sort of be when we're doing the Sunday Night Football breakdown of a team, it's Chris Collinsworth. Oh, this TJ. I almost just said Aaron Donald. Oh, this TJ Watt. Mike, I'll tell you, like it should be that for 3 hours.
Who's the top of the list? Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, Watt, Bosa.
Parsons is getting that treatment. He's amazing. But the fact that you add he's a Dallas Cowboy to the mix and he gets fixated on. I'm old enough to remember how broadcast treated Lawrence Taylor, and that's what TJ Watt deserves. TJ Watt might be the best football player in the league.
Holy shit! So you're putting him up
He
in the
dragged that awful team to the playoffs
when you
last
say,
year.
because when I have said of Reggie White or Lawrence Taylor, I have said what Aaron Donald is doing is more impressive to me because he's doing it right up the middle. And
It is. I'm not taking anything away. I guess I am, but when I say TJ Watt is the best player in the league, but it's him and Aaron Donald, and you don't.
For best player in the league?
Best defensive player.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not insulting the great legacy of Tom Brady. I'm saying right
Aaron
now.
Jefferson.
Donald's also very, very good. He does get a lot
Or
of credit
Geno.
for being good. But this season with TJ Watt, the Steelers have 2 wins, 9 sacks, 7 turnovers forced, 15 points per game allowed. And then in 7 games without TJ Watt, 1-6, 6 sacks, 5 turnovers forced, 25.3 points allowed. And like, it's a small sample size because they've played the Bengals and the Saints when he's been healthy. But he does make a huge difference in the way that teams have to double up on him. And then he lets other guys on that Steelers defense shine, like Alex Highsmith or Cam Hayward. And that makes the biggest difference, even if he's not the one getting the ball or like, clubbing someone with his arm, someone else is getting to the quarterback and doing it.
I want to ask you this as someone who has only gotten to enjoy Dolphin defensive football for 20 years. When we were having the Tua discussion around you, and you've just played a 20-10 game, I was thinking yesterday of Titan fans winning 17-10 and Broncos fans. I was thinking of Carolina and the Falcons playing that 25-15 game on Thursday night. When they watch the Dolphins, it's envy. When they watch what is happening on
100%,
offense,
yes.
because you're just so strange. You've got Russell Wilson. You thought Russell Wilson was going to do that. I'm going to push back on what you guys are saying is I thought Tua was going to be this. This is crazy. Making offense look this easy in that league when no one but the Chiefs can do it. When only that horse who plays in the backfield for the Bills, who's running around out there playing like a horse, tried to tackle him like a horse, throws like a horse.
Why does he keep running into folks like a horse?
Like a horse.
Just slide, man.
But
He ain't sliding, Mike.
the thing that happened with Mahomes and Tua, and whether it's a man's muscles or a woman's curves, we fall in love with the giant arms, the big giant arms. Tua was never expected to be that. He was going to be a great quarterback. Obviously, you take him that high, you trade up for him, you tank for him, but not, Mike, this is absurd. This is Dolphins Dan Marino offense because you've got the ingredients of receivers and coaching, and now you've got confidence, and the pinpoint is crazy. There was a play he completed to Waddle. Waddle was not open. Waddle's always open. He was not open, and the place that the throw was put is absurd. The precision is absurd.
Was that the throw where Waddle emerged from it laughing out loud? And I was wondering, what's going on with him? And he, like, you could see his teeth. He was laughing out loud at the end of an out route. I think they must have, like, gone and practiced, like, oh, we can do this whenever.
Against anybody.
Right. There was something that made him laugh at the end of a completed catch and a first down.
It reminded me of where Brady threw the ball to Gronk, because the corner for the Browns, he got a lot of lift. He had the play covered. He knew what Waddle was going to do. It did not matter because of where the ball was placed, just inches from the fingertips of a corner extended at maximum dive.
Whitty, I think they were laughing at how easy this has become, how good Tua is, how accurate Tua is, and he's throwing them balls before they even make their break. Before they're coming out of their break, he is delivering the football and delivering it exactly where they want it to be. It's incredible to watch.
An extraordinary understanding with both Waddle and Tyreek Hill. It's incredible.
If we can just catch our breath for a little bit, though, because by every statistical measure, the Bills' offense is still better than Miami's. And I understand that Miami's running game offense.
the record.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy? Get him out of here.
Here's a measure: points scored. Dolphins 252, Bills 250. Shut up.
Here's why I'm telling you. The Bills just got off of 2 consecutive losses to the Jets, who are solid, and the Vikings, who are arguably the best team in the league. The Dolphins beat up on the Browns and Bears. And the offensive numbers are still, I know we're flying high right now if you're a Dolphin fan, but I'm telling you that the season as a whole would suggest that the Bills are better.
Oh, but Mike, I would still make the argument that the Bills are better. However, Josh Allen turning the ball over is something that's worthy of your mistrust. Like them trading for Chubb. I didn't think going all in on Chubb and trying to go after Buffalo this year with the hope that Josh Allen gets hurt is something that you could play for. I didn't think they were as good as the Bills. I don't think they're as good as the Bills. Unless you throw in Josh Allen's going to turn the ball over.
If only there was a way that you could see them play each other and know who was better, the Dolphins or the Bills.
Yep, little head-to-head.
Yeah. Oh,
Careful with the head-to-heads, though.
Hold on.
Wait. What?
This happened.
It did?
What?
The Dolphins scored 21 points.
Uh-huh.
And the Bills scored 19.
Now put that in your little computer, Mike, and tell us which offense was better.
And Josh Allen, if I remember, was bouncing passes at the end of the game to receivers.
This was a full game you're talking about,
throwing
right?
up all over himself as he's one to do.
His arm was too tired to throw the little out over there.
The most compiled game of 400
He
yards
had
I've ever
heat
seen.
stroke,
Oh,
right?
enough with that. Okay, guys, TV producers and TV directors out there, enough with the thermometers on the sideline.
I love
it's
it.
not
I need more
original.
thermometers.
Every single game, it's the exact same thing. I understand that some reporter comes in like, I have an idea. Let's show the Dolphins sideline, and then let's show the other team's sideline, and let's show the difference of 30 degrees. Yeah, we saw that last week when it was on CBS also, okay? You're not the first one here.
I just love that it's November 13th. And it's still 106 degrees on the Brown
Do you
sideline.
love that?
I do. I love that. It sort of reminds me. It sort of tickles. Oh, this is our thing.
So
this is our home field advantage.
It was cold here yesterday.
It was so
too.
pleasant yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday was a very pleasant day.
It was a long sleeve shirt day.
I think there might be
Wait,
heaters
it
under
was?
the ground.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
Yesterday
it
was
was.
very
No,
pleasant.
It was a record high.
I don't
it
want
was
to see
88 degrees.
You're not allowed to
Yes.
bring out the thermometers in November. You're just not allowed
It
to.
was 106
they allowed
degrees.
They allowed people into that stadium in September for a high noon college football game.
Did you see that Southern Miss coach's shirt?
I cannot believe that we're still doing this.
And that's why none of the fans showed up.
Yep.
Because it's too hot. Exactly.
Twitter's been around long enough that I'm starting to remember accounts that are from out of town that have made fun of Miami Hurricanes attendance, and then inevitably they find their way into that sunny part of the stadium and complain on Twitter about how hot it is. I've seen it happen a couple of times.
You feel like ants under a magnifying glass, do you not?
It's totally inhumane.
The plastic seat on that side absorbs like that seat is 140 degrees while the sideline's 100.
Whittingham, getting into the black car seat in a South Florida summer is one of the worst things, but that's worse. The plastic stadium seat anywhere in South Florida is a horror.
I remember the Sunday afternoon Marlins game. The way that you know, like when you get in the car and you try to grab your steering wheel, but it's too hot to grab. Yeah. It's sort of like that with the chair. You're sort of like inch onto the chair a little bit at a time, and then like putting your arms down on the armrest. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck.
You guys are all rookies. You don't know how to do this in the stadium. What you do is you hover over the seat, casting a shadow over it, and then it cools down.
For how long, though?
A couple of minutes. It doesn't take that long.
No one wants to hover that long,
That's
though.
true.
I mean, it hurts your thighs.
Speaking of that, I
Try
saw
being
this.
a woman in a public restroom and get back to it.
Man, how do y'all do it? How do y'all do it, man?
Game ender.
But also, why? I know why the toilet in a men's room is gross. Because guys are just like a fire hose that's just out of control, right?
It's because women are also hovering over it, so
It's
the accuracy is.
It's true. If everyone didn't hover, we'd be probably better, because I've read that it's very unlikely you're going to contract any sort of disease from a toilet seat. The germ level is not as high as you think. The handle on the door actually has more germs than the toilet
Not only
seat.
that, but also the area that we're talking about is a very low traffic area for a person, right? You like, as opposed to your hands, because you touch your face, you touch your mouth, you do all sorts of things with your hands. But like your hamstrings, like they're just there. I don't know what they're
Everyone
doing
needs
back there
to
right
stop
now.
hovering. Starting now.
Is there anyone in our group who has a towel to put on the steering wheel, because you cannot touch your steering?
towel?
You cannot touch your steering wheel. I'm asking if any. What Whittingham is saying is particular to a couple of
No,
months
Dan, that's
down
fancy
here.
German leather. A Toyota Corolla, your steering wheel's not getting
No,
that.
I mean,
Put
it's
that
still
AC
though,
up.
like it's still aiming the air conditioner directly at it for 3 full minutes.
You can put a windshield guard up, though, can't you?
Yeah,
I mean, you can do
the
that.
windshield guard though is very old person though. What? Like I have one, and whenever I have it on display, it's like I'm unfurling the thing. It's like I feel
You have to be in
1,000
Hollywood Beach.
years.
You're
I
right,
feel
yeah.
1,000 years old putting this thing
I
up.
actually recommended a windshield thing for
I
you.
have it. I have it.
Sounds like you don't use it. It's an
Well, okay.
umbrella. You open it up and it goes.
Yeah.
And then
nice.
you close it, and then it's like tiny, and you just
send
put it
that
down
to
like
me?
an umbrella.
So I had
for
one that was
sure.
a giveaway that was, you fold it, but it's not just like folding, like closing. It was like curving into each other. So it turns
I
into
know
like this
exactly
little
what you're
disc.
talking about.
And for the life of me, I couldn't work it. So I was just like, the hell with it, man.
Billy, can you put on the poll, please? Is the windshield guard to cool off your dashboard an old person thing?
No.
I've got a mean having like one.
No,
that's
you won't
the-
do it, or no, or no, it's not an old person thing.
I've got you having one that's just the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon when you open it up.
Silly Mike. I don't park my car outdoors.
Look at me, Louie.
Really? What?
How does
That's
one
an
manage?
Arizona
how-
thing. They have like the sheds that you all park your cars under.
Sheds. It's called something called garages. Get with it, guys. Come on.
So like when you go to a grocery store,
What's it like being
you
a
don't
homeowner?
park it, and it like you have to park outdoors at
It's an
some
odd
point.
flex, I mean.
The garage flex? I have a garage.
I have garages. The grocery store is an interesting place, Woody, because that's where you hit the remote start and you let that thing start. By the time I'm in the car, that car is ready to go. You got to do it, man. You got to have that car running. You got to understand something. When it's 113 degrees,
Right.
if you try to get in that car, I don't give a shit what kind of windshield screen you've got.
You're not getting in.
You're not getting in.
Right.
You will die.
So how long before you get back in the car do you start the car just to cool it off again?
So I'm in.
like, are you inside still?
When I'm waiting in line for the cashier or for the self checkout, whichever is a shorter line, I'm starting the car already.
It's a dangerous game.
Why is that?
What if someone steals your car?
Can't do it, man.
What do you mean?
Look, it doesn't work that way.
Really?
Yeah,
What do you mean
it doesn't work that way.
Your
It's not-
car's open.
No, but it's not like my key is in the car, right? Like it.
Yeah, but your car is started, and I'm
Okay.
assuming the doors are unlocked.
Yeah, but they can't drive away because it'll
They
cut
need the
off.
fob.
Yeah, technology, guys, come on.
Does the remote start with the little key fob not make you think that you're in like a mafia film though, and like your car's gonna blow up?
I feel like that's why they put it in there, because they all saw Casino.
Do better, Silver. I don't like that.
Do better.
I don't remember anything from 2018.
Oh, it was a wonderful time. It was a glorious time.
Here's how long ago it was. LeBron James and Kevin Durant played each other the last time Miami was in a New Year's Six game.
It's a long time. That was the year of Notre Dame, Miami, right?
That was
2017.
2017, and then 18 was the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
Against Wisconsin. Yeah.
There you go. Wow. what a
College
time.
football seasons are always.
Let me tell you about a time, Jessica. Let me regale you of a time. 2018. First of all, I need the music playing that. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Anytime you do a flashback, doesn't matter what year it is. All
Wait,
on the Watchtower.
hold on, I got you. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo, doodle-doo.
Even if it's 5 years, though?
Even if it's 5 years ago. It's always all, and we're in a helicopter and we're flying over like rice paddies and like someone's manning one of those big machine guns. And it's like, it was 2018.
Flying over West 32.
What is this, Rambo? I mean,
5 years now feels really different than 5 years before, right?
That was 5 years ago?
Like that 2 year
Almost.
gap
Yeah.
in the middle is so weird because everything seems like it just happened, but also like it happened 800 years ago.
It was our blip. We blipped out.
Yeah, last year was weird. I was looking back at box scores from last year's NFL season, and you'd still see games happening on Wednesdays.
Yeah. Dude.
Because of COVID.
miss those days.
There were
Not
third
the COVID days, but the
third
Wednesday.
string quarterbacks.
The first round of the NBA playoffs was in June or something. Like it's bizarre to look back at 2021. It really was just our blip. Like we all went away and then we reappeared and then we're trying to figure out how to do things. But 2018, man, I was on top of the world. Michael B. Jordan was running across the court to say what's up to me. Like it was a crazy time,
Wait,
guys.
what?
I'm
Was that,
telling
when,
you.
was that when you
What
peaked?
happened?
I mean,
Was that when I what?
you peaked.
I peaked. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Michael B. Jordan ran across the
Ran
court
across the court
to
say what's
see
up.
you.
To say what's up, man.
And then he ran back to whence
No,
he came.
I think he just then mingled in the area that I was
But it
standing
was
in.
to you that he was going that allowed
Yeah,
him to
man.
then mingle in the area.
It was actually a 1-year sojourn, me and Michael B. Jordan, man.
What
Because
happened?
it started 2017 in New Orleans. And so when you're at All-Star Weekend or whatever, they give you a credential, but they don't give you a seat. So you're in the building, you're a couple feet off the court, but you have nowhere to sit and you can't stand because security will say, so you keep moving.
That's how they do it in the Big Easy.
So I'm doing my lap, and this is the trick. Let me tell you, everybody who's credentialed but doesn't have a seat, this is what you do. You walk, you stop somewhere, and then you act like you're looking for someone. Just a little furrowed brow, or one of these, like, want me to come to you? Like, just enough. And then security just doesn't really notice. And after a while, they're like, all right, keep it moving. Like, oh, yeah, I was moving anyway. And then you go to another spot and you do it again. So I went to the corner and I'm doing this. And Michael B. Jordan's sitting courtside. And he goes, just a head nod. And so I'm like, clearly he's talking to somebody else. I don't know Michael B. Jordan. So I'm like, oh, okay. But then he like looks at me again. He's like, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And then security told me to move, so I had to move. So fast forward a year later, All-Star Weekend in LA, and that's when he's like, yo, man. I'm like, hey, man, like, I remember last year, da-da-da. And he's like, yeah, I didn't know why you didn't want to say what's up. I'm like, oh, I just didn't know. And by the way, Black Panther is just dropped at this point. So this is peak Michael B. Jordan, peak Amin Elhassan.
Hold on a
joining
second.
forces. Oh, my God.
Couple of peaks, cutting it up.
Hold on a second. So your year-long relationship that you just
Yeah.
described with Michael B. Jordan
Yep.
involves a year before a head nod that may or may not have been to you. Then you didn't see him or talk to him for a year.
For a year. Well, I saw him in Black Panther.
That,
Right.
and then
Sexiest man alive. You saw him, though, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I also I was also seeing because I went to the Black Panther premiere, which all the elite black people got an invite to. That was, by the way, the same date I found out that Jamel Hill was a big deal. Like, I did not know that Jamel was just my friend, and so at the Black Panther premiere, like it was her and Michael Smith. I walk up to them. I'm like, hey guys, what you think about the movie? Like, I'm just like bullshitting, and Jamel was like, hold on 1 second, and I turn, and because she's like, I got to talk to this person here, and I turn around, and it's a line of people patiently waiting, like it's concessions, to talk to Jamel Hill.
Wow.
And you know who was number one in the line? Donald Glover. he was waiting I was like, what's that? What the hell's going on? And then I was like, hit me. Oh shit, she's a big deal. Damn. What a time, man. 2018, what a time. Oh.
How do you get back there?
Angels. That's a cinephobe reference. I didn't need
Legion.
to do that. Yeah, oh God, what a movie. What a movie. Stugotz, have you ever seen the movie Legion?
No.
It stars Paul Bettany as a fallen angel who is going to protect this diner waitress who's pregnant with not the Antichrist, what's the other thing? Like the humanity's last hope. But God has decided he's going to purge the world, so he sends a bunch of angels to kill everybody. It's got Dennis Quaid. It's got my man Rock, Charles S. Dutton. You know him.
Your man?
Smitty, yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Rock
you know,
Charles Dutton?
Charles S. Dutton.
Oh,
You don't
from
know?
Yellowstone.
Rock. Oh,
Not from Yellowstone.
Oh.
I thought you'd
I
know
heard
him
it
from
Dutton.
Rudy.
Oh.
That guy.
Charles S.
I
Dutton.
have
that
COVID
guy.
brain
Oh, the
right
clap.
now.
He's the guy in the
Yes.
clapping.
Yeah.
GIF. Yeah.
Oh,
The
that
custodian,
guy.
yes.
You guys don't
Yes.
know Rock? Never remember that
No,
shit?
I know him as a guy that claps in,
Yeah.
in Rudy.
Great gif.
He was in Gothica.
Shout out to Halle Berry, who was also in Gothica. But anyway, Stugotz.
Yes.
And it's literally an old school 80s action movie that came out in like 2010. So there's machine guns, people are shooting angels with like howitzers and stuff. You would love it. Love it, absolutely love it. I can't recommend it enough.
Would you guys want to be like one of the last people on Earth if something like that happened?
Absolutely not.
Me neither. It seems like a huge responsibility. Rebuilding mankind.
I
No
want to be one of
thanks.
the first people to go, Billy. Like, I don't want to see the world when it's shitty. I saw the world at 2018. Why would I want to see this?
Yeah. You've seen its peak. You're right.
If a meteor were to come and like end the world, land on my head. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to survive that.
But Billy, you said to me before the show, all I want for Christmas is a night's sleep.
That's true. Well,
So if nobody's left, there's a lot of tranquility to
Sleep
be found.
away.
No.
Right.
You think Billy is going to be laying asleep at night when the world has ended? Like,
No,
just
no, not a
on a
shot.
good night's rest? No, he's going to be worried about, like, where's our water coming from, right?
what was that show that they had like on NBC where it was like there was like an apocalypse and there's like one guy.
The last man on earth?
Yeah, like I'd be horrible in that situation. Like not good at all. Like where would I even get bread? You know what I mean? Because it would
have to make
expire.
it.
I can't make bread. How would
There
I
you go.
learn?
That's my point to
Everyone
win.
learned in 2020, Billy.
To make bread?
They did.
I
A
made
little sourdough
so
starter?
much goddamn bread in 2020.
Hey, so did I, but a different kind. Hey.
Hey-oh.
I feel bad.
Profited off of the
I
pandemic.
super profit.
Weird
You
flex.
hoarded masks?
Me and Zach Harper, oh my God, we were just cleaning up because we had to do radio. No one could get into a radio studio. So the only people who could do radio were people who had like a mic set up and on, but because we were podcasting, we did. But nobody else on the station had that equipment. So we were doing like 2 hours of radio and they were repeating it throughout the day. And we were getting paid.
You get paid on repeats?
You get syndication on radio?
At that point, yeah, because we
Amazing.
were the only people on
Wow.
air.
We should do a radio show.
And repeat it and get paid for the repeats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a time.
Mm-hmm. Good
So
for you.
2020 was your peak, and also
No.
2018 was your peak.
I know 2020 was different because I felt bad making all this money. I kept
sound it right now.
I kept hoping that like this. I hope this never ends. I hope everybody's locked down forever. Oh my God.
How difficult was it for Sirius XM NBA radio hosts to get like a USB mic?
No, I'm
just
tell-
get a Yeti
No,
and get
but
on the air.
You got to understand, Witty. Nope. That now it's like everyone's got one of these. Back then, if you weren't already doing this shit, you had no idea. Like, how do I hook up this Scarlett to it and what? And I gotta adjust the level. No one knew how to do any of that. And by the way, ordering that stuff wasn't. You know,
there was a shortage at that point because then
because
everyone wanted
everyone
one.
started a
Yeah.
podcast.
You had to get
yeah.
one like the first week of March 2020,
Yep.
or else it was too late.
Yep.
I have you and Zach waiting at people's houses to intercept the packages.
Amazon packages. This is heavy. It feels like a mic.
I had to
Someone
run
made-
around coughing near people just to scare them back indoors.
coughing on their packages.
I made a lot of money in 2020 also. I invested it all in this little company that was a startup at the time called FTX. I should check on that and see how it's going.
Yep.
Oh man, I was reading. What Michael Lewis, you know, as the writer, has been embedded with the founder of FTX for the last year. And he was just writing about his weird rivalry between him and the Binance guy.
Easy.
Yeah.
I think is his nickname.
And so like Michael Lewis is like with him when all of this shit went down. And so now they're trying to sell the book, which was supposed to be about this weird tension. And now it's going to be about like the fall of crypto or whatever. Oh, it's amazing.
Was Michael Lewis on the plane to South America?
I'm going to assume yes.
Apparently that's not. Sam Bankman-Fried is claiming he's still in the Bahamas.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Fried. Sorry.
Sam?
Fine. Yeah.
If you're Michael Lewis, like, are you happy that this happened, or do you part of you kind of think like, how did hear me out. Obviously, this is going to be great for him.
Of course you are, Billy.
No, but part of you, does part of him like, how did I miss everything that was actually going on here?
Billy, so somebody leaked
Thousands of us are asking that.
Somebody leaked the email that his agent is sending out to like publishers. My favorite part of the email is the line, Michael hasn't written a word yet. He's just been embedded. That's all.
He's just got all the deets.
So
waiting.
It's not like he wrote everything like, oh, it's back to the drawing board. We got to erase and start over. I have him manually erasing, by the way, with it.
Is he going to name the book Crypto Ball?
Wow.
Money Fall.
This happens though. This happened somewhat recently. I mean, it happens probably all the time, but it happened somewhat recently where an author was writing like a story about someone, and then right after the book came out, a bunch of shit hit the fan, and they were like, "How did you miss all of this? What am I thinking about?" That happened in the last couple of years.
But this is shit that hit the fan before the main story came out.
You'd rather shit hit the fan before you write the book, because then the book comes out and you look like an idiot that you didn't see any of the
This is
shit
awesome.
going
It'll
on.
never end, ever.
But it feels like everyone now is like, oh, of course. This was so obvious. So if you're embedded with the person and now all of this comes out, like, obviously this is going to be like a right place, right time situation where it's going to be like hugely great financially, but you have to kind of wonder like,
He should name the book The Blind Side.
Ah.
Heyo.
Yeah. Billy, it's great
Gross
because
cabal.
what?
They had a cabal. The FTX founders. They had a cabal.
That's what you should call it. Cabal. Money ball. Money cabal. That's it? Is that it? Money cabal?
Just their oversized.
I love
hoodies.
brainstorming on air.
Just
Oh, we're on air?
their basketball shorts and their socks and their bad hair and just stealing money and fucking.
You don't sound better.
How's NBA Top Shot going, by the way?
I got a pack the
Wow.
other day.
You're still doing it.
No, I got an email for a pack. I'm like, I'm never doing this. Remember that? Hey, can
what
I
a
interest you
time.
in an Obi Toppin? I still
You
have
still
it.
got it.
Still
He's
listen.
playing better.
He is.
It's getting like just hold on to it just a little bit longer.
Even if you wanna-
If this whole thing doesn't collapse first, that Obi Toppin will be worth something.
$900 for a 3-pointer he made in a meaningless game at Indiana. Come on.
Is that even a dunk?
What do you think you could sell that now?
Low serial number though. Come on.
What can you sell that for?
What can I say? I can't sell it for anything.
Not a penny?
I can't.
Huh.
it seemed like the whole like FTX thing, like the guy's big plan, and obviously I don't know everything, was like, well, I drive a Corolla, so you could trust me.
I swear to God, Billy, I said the same exact thing, same note too, bro. I was like, wait a second, that's not a business plan. Like, no, trust me.
I have a Corolla.
Yeah,
Like,
I was
we're good here.
Oh, I mean, clearly he's not wasting money in any way.
Don't worry about the $200 million in like Bahamian real estate. I drive a Corolla. We're good.
The craziest thing about FTX was last Super Bowl, they had an ad with Larry David in it, and Larry David basically like, this shit, what is this? Like, he's literally calling them out on their bullshit. You're saying, Billy, how did they not know? Larry David was in an ad where he's like, I know this shit ain't real for FTX. It's brilliant, man.
But I think what Billy is saying is when you're embedded in a camp and you're a smart guy like Michael Lewis, how is it you don't know before?
Who said he didn't know?
I mean,
I assume that that's part of the reason why he was embedded in the camp, that he knew there was something interesting about the story, whether or not it was like potential fraud or not. That's what makes it an interesting story.
The funny thing is, according to the letter from the agent, he didn't like, it wasn't about crypto. It was about specifically the personal dynamics between Sam, what?
Bankman-Fried.
Sam Bankman-Fried, and
SBF.
and the Binance
SBF.
guy, the Binance guy whose name escapes me.
CZ, I think his name is.
CZ.
That's like his nickname. I don't know. I'm learning all of this 4 days ago.
But you have all these people coming out now sharing their awkward interactions with SBF.
What? You're telling me a man who drives a Corolla is ahead of
The awkwardness is the point.
Yeah,
it's the attraction.
Like Chamath came out, like we gave him a plan. We recommended that they form a board. We gave them all these investments, and then someone just called us and told us to go fuck ourselves. And, like that was like the formal response was go fuck yourself.
He should name the book The Undoing Project.
As we're weirdly inside Michael Lewis right now.
Yeah, that's the part where I realized I didn't read. I didn't read that book.
That one. They didn't make a movie out of it.
Maybe he should name it Liar's Poker.
They didn't make a movie out of it.
That's my connection point to all of Michael Lewis's work. That and a couple South Beach sessions.
I love that you got the laugh, and you're still trying to come up with more. End it on a laugh.
I think the big loss here, because obviously is all the money, but besides all the money that was lost, I think the big loss here is that Elon didn't take him on as an investor in Twitter, because this would have been a perfect marriage of disaster situations.
Let me just say right now, I know it's irresponsible, but Twitter this last week has been the best
it's ever been.
It's been amazing.
It's
been amazing.
2012.
I mean, I would say not
2018
until
Twitter.
2016
2012.
when Donald Trump got COVID and Twitter almost exploded. My phone was like hot in my hand just from scrolling Twitter. It has not felt like that since.
I'm gonna tell you the greatest days in Twitter, right? Hashtag TCAP, to catch a predator. When that show was on the syndication on MSNBC, and people would get on Twitter and live tweet it. That's a fine, whoever.
That's me.
Okay. All right.
$5.
Number 2. The day it was a Yahoo report where they were saying Trump had just been elected, and he says he wants a bigger Navy, except they didn't write the word bigger. They wrote another word.
I remember that.
Oh my God, Twitter.
That was in 2018 too.
2016, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
It was. It might have been 20. I thought it was 2016 because I want to say it was right after he got elected.
2 years before your prime.
2 years before.
It's a line
prime.
of demarcation
Yeah.
for everything.
And 4 years before he made bank.
And now here's a crazy thing.
4 years after the peak Twitter too.
Another great moment in Twitter history happened last week, but it had anything to do with all the fake check marks. It was the LeBron's a liar thing. Oh my God. It's still going, by the way.
It's still going.
Did you see the one?
It's still going strong.
I told Savannah, Justin Jefferson's going to make a hell of a catch here today. I love it. And there's two things I love. I love one, every single one is funny. And those are the hallmarks of these like Twitter moments when nobody misses. Everyone's shooting 1,000%. But the other thing, Stugotz, you know that he's seeing it. That's the. It's not like Michael Jordan who's like, "What? My face is a meme." Like he has no idea. No, LeBron's seeing all of this, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on inside him internally. What he's thinking about. What can I say to stop this?
DeAndre Jordan's kidnapping was also a great.
That was a great day
in Twitter history.
Yeah.
LeBron's decision was a great day too.
Was it on Twitter?
Yeah, I feel like it was.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Great day on
and
Twitter.
like
Yeah.
from July 1 until the decision was. I remember I was working at Publix and I had to go on the mobile version of Twitter. Like I didn't have an iPhone back then.
Nice.
So I had to like go on like twitter.com on whatever Motorola device I had.
Oh my God.
Posting your photos on YFrog.
Yeah. Oh, YFrog. Wow.
Twit pics. Twit pics or it didn't happen. Remember that? Ooh, twit pics or it didn't happen.
Oh, the Chris Rock Will Smith slap was another great moment.
Was
in
it?
Twitter
Great
history.
moment,
Oh
yeah.
my God, that
It
was
is-
electric.
I felt like there was a lot of whininess though, man. Like that's the problem.
No,
You
those are
can't.
memes.
Yeah,
the
Judd
memes.
Apatow ruined that.
But that was
one.
still hilarious.
Mike, here's the rule. For you to have a classic moment in Twitter history, no one can come here with like a serious take. That was the greatness of Bigger Navy Day. Nobody came with like, how did this person have this typo in there? No, we just made jokes about the SS.
Yeah.
Like, there's a Timberland that's just coming to the dock and
There
stuff.
have been though like 50 of those tweets in the last week. Like there have been things that I've laughed at so hard that I have repeatedly over the last few days that I've never laughed harder in my life, and it's just one stupid tweet of someone pretending to be someone else.
Oh, my God.
Oh my! It's just ridiculous.
There's a Tesla one I can't say out
There's
loud.
a Mr. Bean one I can't say out loud.
The Tesla one is like, it's not sexual in nature, but it is as radioactive a comedy place as you can go.
Send it to me.
I went in there with no radiation suit or anything. I just said, give me the gamma rays. I'm going to go the Incredible Hulk on this. Oh, man. The Rudy Giuliani, Nancy Pelosi.
Big day.
Oh, my God. Yo, I don't know if he meant to do it, but he just ushered in the greatest era. I just want this to keep going.
It's also terrible though because I have no idea when someone sends a tweet in a chat where I just assume all of them are
Ballsack.
a different letter in the handle with a check mark and it got spread. I don't trust anything.
Has any like legit like big news happened in the last 5 days? Because the first time that there is like a someone dies or like some big NBA trade, maybe it's gonna be a disaster.
Oh, man.
Jeff Saturday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Got to win?
Oh, Jeff Saturday, I thought 100%. No, oh, come on. Yeah, there's an extra R in Schefter or something like that. There's just no way. There's no way. What are you talking about?
I mean higher stakes though. We need like a higher stakes
And then Jeff
news
Saturday?
story
I mean,
than Jeff Saturday.
There was a
because-
Steelers verified account that
I saw
killed
that.
off Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
tough.
my God.
Didn't an insulin company lose $20 billion?
Yes.
Yes,
or
Eli
something?
Lilly.
That's actually
Yeah.
hilarious.
Allegedly.
That one was hilarious.
Because someone tweeted from a fake Eli Lilly account that insulin was free, and then Eli Lilly had to come and be like, actually, our insulin costs $700, and it's very expensive for people with diabetes to get life-saving medicine, even though it costs $9 in Europe.
yeah.
that was true
Well, I
Robin
mean,
Hood stuff.
It costs like $9 to make. It's not an expensive thing to produce. You know what the greatest thing about the fake verified stuff is? You know who started it? No one will remember. Everyone's gonna say Kathy Griffin. It wasn't Kathy Griffin.
Doja Cat?
It wasn't Doja Cat. The person who started it before Elon took control of Twitter. Unbeknownst to
Are you
anyone.
saying the first person to ever impersonate someone
No,
on Twitter?
the first person to do it with a blue check mark, so you thought it was real.
Michael B. Jordan.
Close. Ian Carmel.
Ooh.
He changed his
Oh,
name to
the
Kyrie
Kyrie.
Irving.
Oh, the Kyrie thing was hilarious.
And people took it all seriously. That's my favorite thing. People felt
Wait,
it.
what did he do? I
He
missed
changed his name to Kyrie Irving.
When he just tweeted Woody Allen was black. That is-
No one ever asked why that fiddler was on the roof.
David Simon, the creator of The Wire, says that he has totally grown weary and will not any longer expect billionaires to do the right thing because there's a certain amount of exploitation required to get to your billions. As Jeff Bezos says, he is giving all of his money to charity. Are the people
What?
who are listening to this saying, what's the rub? Like, I don't believe you, rich person. I don't believe that during your lifetime you're actually going to give away all your money to charitable endeavors.
Well, is he saying all the money he currently has or all future earnings as well? Because if he
just-
gives all the money that he currently has, he'll make more in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year.
Okay,
right?
but my question is, are you going to go to immediately questioning it, or are all of us so cynical that what's the rub, what's the agenda? It can't just be that you're this giving person, right?
Can I still do returns with just a QR code on my phone and drop it off? And sometimes they say, you know what, just keep it and we'll refund you the money. If that's still in play, I don't give a shit what he does with his money.
Again, though,
I love it.
when I tell you that the news being reported that Jeff Bezos says he's giving away all of the money that he makes during his lifetime, do you approach that cynically, or does Bezos buy anything
Of course
with you?
you approach it cynically.
Dan, let's be real. Let's say he kept $400 million. $100 million.
He's got $124 billion.
It's just
they
like,
say.
okay. That's the crazy thing. There's a story about the guy who created Snapchat, right? And at some point, I want to say Facebook came up and said, hey, we want to buy Snapchat. And here's $2 billion. And the guy refused it. He said, because Snapchat is a $6 billion thing. And I was like, what can you do with $6 billion that you can't do with $2 billion? Like, what can you do? At some point, it's better to have the cash in hand right now and then do some other stuff. So in the same way, someone who's worth $124 billion saying, I'm going to give away all my money. First of all, he's not going to give away all his money. He's keeping some of his money. Second of all,
You're calling him a liar.
Well, to be
with you,
fair,
by the way.
I think he said most of his fortune.
yeah, there you
How
go.
do I like sign
Keep
up
a
for
billion?
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if we're handing out like $1 billion and we're looking for like where it can go, like
Start
I'm
a charity,
here. Yeah,
Bill.
like
Yeah.
There it is.
No.
Have you seen what his ex-wife is doing? Mackenzie Scott.
She gives away most of it too.
She gave $40 million to FIU, and I heard the story. I heard the story of how that happened. She just
Somebody
called.
asked.
She just called and said, "I'm giving you $40 million." She did the same thing to UCF. No real ties or anything. No real reason. Just here's $40 million.
I mean, I presume there was a reason.
Somebody
like,
asked. Somebody asked. I didn't hear that she just randomly called them and said,
No, like that's a story. Like nobody asked her. She just called and said, "I'm going to give you $40 million."
There
But
has
those
to have been a
schools,
pitch,
right?
yeah.
Those schools must be doing something that that she's passionate about. They have to be. There's no way she's just calling random universities and saying, "Here's a bill."
I don't know the logic behind it. I just know that it was a cold call out of the blue. She just said, "I'm giving you $40 million."
I know what UCF was doing. Peaking in 2018. That's what they were doing. You know what? I peaked in 2018. Former Mrs. Bezos. 40 million, give or take. I'll take it.
You seem like really content with knowing you've peaked.
Oh, Billy, that's called age, man. You got to realize sometimes you got to just, that was it. No, it's doing this now. It's slow descent
You're
down
on the
to
decline.
not just decline, but it's like
But there might be another peak, and you need to let people know there might be another
Stugotz,
peak.
if there's
you know?
another peak, it's like when you flush the toilet and that like the water comes back up suddenly right there before that.
It's still going to be below where
Yeah.
it originally was.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, but to
right.
Stugotz's point, like it's bad for business for you to be just openly telling people, "No, I've peaked. Like there's no getting back to where I was."
You're gonna have a couple of peaks, though. It's not outside the realm of possibility. Look at Tom Cruise; he peaked again.
Look at Mad Dog Russo. I mean,
Oh my God,
A second
having
peak.
a moment.
a
A second peak.
a larger peak.
Geno
Yeah.
Smith.
Geno Smith,
Another
there you
peak.
go,
Aubrey Plaza.
having a moment.
It's
So
not
true.
over. I mean,
Hall
This
and
could be
Oates.
you. Yeah.
Did we see last night's White Lotus? Is anyone else
Ah,
watching?
no, 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 no.
9 p.m.'s too late. Yeah,
yeah,
It's
it
way
is.
too late.
especially for an hour show.
It hasn't been as good as the first season, but I'm wondering if that's because now I know how good the first season was, and my expectations are too high. Because part of season one was like, oh, what is this show?
Slow build.
You need Steve Zahn.
Yeah,
I see.
but we got
It
Michael
misses-
Imperioli.
Steve Zahn makes everything.
No,
work.
it wasn't Steve
Mustafa.
Zahn. It was the hotel manager in the first
Oh,
season. He made it
Armando.
great. Yeah.
I think Imperioli's the weakest one of the storylines this season.
I
That
mean,
of-
I don't know
of
what he's
all
up
of them.
to. He's just cheating on his ex-wife, I
spoiler
guess.
alert.
Spoiler.
I haven't gotten around to it.
But he looks great.
I'm getting.
He does. He's got Silver Fox going. My favorite person this year is F. Murray Abraham.
Yes.
Because he just
Dara
reminds.
Dahl from Homeland.
From Scarface, a Cuban guy from Scarface, F. Murray Abraham.
It's a great cast. Aubrey Plaza, too. I'm like, what's she up to?
Having a moment is what she's up to.
I want to ask you yesterday from the football moments for you guys. I'm guessing that just Bills Vikings was perpetual holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Mahomes is so excellent all the time, and the Chiefs are so excellent all the time that they played yesterday the game that the Dolphins played. You heard how we hyperventilated when the Dolphins played it. The Chiefs do that all the time. Can summon it whenever, so we've gotten used to it. But among the holy shit moments for you yesterday, if I go Tua, if I go Justin Jefferson, if I go Justin Fields, a quarterback running away
Amazing.
from a secondary.
Yeah.
He has reached 20 miles per hour 7 times.
Yeah.
I thought that 3-yard run was more impressive than the 60-yard
one
run.
yard.
It was the best play of the day. It was amazing.
Such a violent collision at the
Yes.
goal line. He just got up like nothing.
And
No, it was
another
more the way he emerged from the guy had him wrapped around his ankles.
play was over.
It was over. And he
Yes.
just steps out of it.
He's really strong, lower body really strong. But Stugotz, you're willing to say that the Fields play was better than Jefferson on 4th and 18? What, the greatest
The
catch any
Fields
of us?
play was so impressive, Dan. It's like the greatest 2-yard run I've ever seen.
Stugotz, Jefferson, that's
the
the greatest
Jefferson-
catch
I
any of
know,
us have
I
ever
know.
seen on 4th and 18.
Beckham,
It was
I
4th
mean-
and 18.
I
Beckham's
mean-
still the one for me, but
Yeah.
this one,
Beckham didn't have someone who was going to intercept the same ball he was going to
You're
catch.
right.
Right, but you're
Beckham
right.
did it with one hand, but he didn't have someone
And
who I thought was going to take the ball from him.
Got a
The
hot
one
take,
hand-
though.
The one hand is in the air Justin Jefferson's is like a foot off the ground, and with like 3 fingertips manages to hang on to this ball.
I've got a hot take though. The defender actually going for the interception made that catch possible because it was a bad throw. It would sail over Jefferson, but the corner stopping it actually allowed Justin Jefferson the ability to steal it from him.
Do you realize that 2 quarters earlier I was arguing, was the Diggs catch the best one I've seen ever? It was 2 quarters earlier. And when I say that Josh Allen is a horse, I want you guys, if you can find the slow motion one of the angle of Josh Allen throwing the ball and knowing he threw it too high. Josh Allen is jumping higher than Diggs is. As he throws it and is like, whoops, that kind of got away from me. And then Diggs keeps climbing. But Josh Allen as an athlete is absurd. And Justin Fields he's Lamar Jackson running the football. He's faster than everybody.
Yeah.
He's bigger and stronger.
And harder to tackle.
Yeah, they have had a couple of amazing losses. They really have, like really good losses, because they now know they have a quarterback and they're losing games and they're going to get a great draft pick. That was such a quality loss to the Detroit Lions yesterday. It really 31-30. They missed an extra point. The game would have went to overtime. But the Bears are having the best season of all the bad teams.
No, but Stu, once you have a quarterback, I don't think you start worrying. Like, you're overly Jetsed. You've spent way too much time in the Jets atmosphere, because once you have the quarterback, you want him to win. Yeah, maybe the difference between the receiver available at 6.
Talent.
I know, but the difference between the receiver available at 6 and 11 is not worth Justin Fields actually getting to celebrate victories.
No, but you're getting a better draft pick and you're showing the world and free agents, look what we have.
Exactly.
Look at this guy.
You want him to play well, but you still want to lose the game. Like
no, you
yesterday.
don't. You want him to win games.
I know
Good
Bears
loss.
fans.
Yeah.
I am 2/4 of a Bears fan.
So,
1/4.
So a half?
I don't know what I am.
What a day for you yesterday.
I'm in a weird
I mean,
place because
day
I'm
for
rooting for them
fractions.
to lose because the Steelers have their 2nd-round pick, and I want them to do worse than the Packers so
Wow,
that they do
rooting
better.
against
But I
second-round picks
also-
is a special hell.
I also want them to lose because then they have a better 1st-round pick.
Depends. Well, like the Dolphins got their 1st-round pick taken away, so technically it could be a 1st-round pick because one team's gone now.
I mean,
that's right.
I
Everyone
enjoyed.
takes a step to the left. Yeah.
I enjoyed the shit out of the Houston Texans season that led to the Miami Dolphins having Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, and Jalen Waddle. But that was for them to finish with the 3rd overall pick, not the 41st overall pick.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The Bears and the Steelers are kind of in like the weird same place where they both have quarterbacks that have played good in different parts of the season. And you want, like, it's too late for both of them to make the playoffs, right? So you want them to still finish where you feel confident about next season, but they're in a good place to draft the players that they need on the offensive line.
But the enthusiasm about Fields would be larger than the one about Pickett, no?
Yeah, I mean, after the last few weeks, easily, Justin Fields. But Justin Fields was a more impressive college quarterback as well. I think he finished 3rd in Heisman voting in 2019.
But you have the Vikings 8-1 in that division. You're not winning that division.
No,
to our point, right? You just want to know that you have a good quarterback and then surround him with talent.
We're too
That's it.
far into the season for the Bears to be able to like turn the ship around and win the division. They're not going to do that.
But if they won their last 2 games, to be a half game behind San Francisco.
But they haven't.
I know, but that means
So
you.
now we root
I know,
for
but
them
that
to
means
lose.
that means you lament those losses, not call them great
Don't tell me
losses.
what to
No,
do
no,
with
no,
my
no, no,
losses.
You're wrong.
No,
Yeah,
no,
they're
no.
great
Whitty,
losses.
let me tell you the ballad of the bad team.
Lamentees.
The ballad of the bad team.
The ballad of the bad team says that, as the prose goes, is like, I want to be in every game and I want to lose them all. That's the key.
It's a beautiful
You
song.
spend so much time in the Jets world. Like at a certain
No.
point, you don't like. Once you have the quarterback, it's not about surrounding him with a better tackle and a better receiver.
Yes,
you can,
it is.
You can go trade for those things. You can go sign him in free agency. You can draft him in the middle of the 1st round.
Whitty, would you rather have the Jets season where they'll likely make the playoffs, get bounced out in the 1st round, okay, if they make the playoffs, but have no idea if they have a quarterback? Or would you rather have the Bears season knowing you have a quarterback for the next 15 years and now you just surround him with talent?
You rather have the quarterback every time, but that doesn't mean if you're a Bears fan, you want them to lose. Like,
No,
you want that Fields performance to be rewarded. You want to celebrate at the end of it. You want him to emerge or
Whitty.
to
It's called a
march.
moral victory.
Whitty,
I
it's-
mean, you have to lose and feel good about losing
Yes,
to have
exactly.
a good
Because-
season when you're one of these teams that's not going to make the playoffs.
And by the way, a terrible win for the Lions. I mean, just so we're clear,
Very
a
true.
horrible win for the
No,
Lions.
it's
It's
not
a
a bad
setback.
win.
Let's
He's
do
trying to
that.
build a program over there. It's his first road win. Let him
Yes.
have it.
You need to have some wins so that you don't fire Dan Campbell.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
he's not in a position where you can be losing games. He needs to prove
Felt
he
like
can do
two
the
was
job.
enough. I mean,
I also Justin Fields actually does a remarkable job of avoiding hits considering how much he runs, but he's still taking 6 or 7 a game. You're wasting hits on losses. He's run the ball 28 times in the last
it would
2
still
games.
be it would still be a waste if they won and
Yeah.
made the playoffs and lost in the first round,
No,
and now
they're
they
not-
can't
they're
draft
not-
an
you're
offensive
want to play
lineman in the
Justin
first
Fields
round.
in the playoffs? I would not. I don't care how good.
You
If I
think
were the Eagles,
the Bears-
if I were the Eagles, I wouldn't want to play Justin Fields
Even
in the
with
playoffs.
a good quarterback, the Bears are many pieces away from a competitive playoff team. Like this is not
Playoffs? Playoffs?
This
What
is
are you
not a
talking
team
about?
that like can go on a run. Like they are really struggling in a lot of key positions, and they need to rebuild through the draft and through trades, and they need an offseason to do that. And the better position they'll be in is if they win or if they lose good losses against teams like the Lions. I hate to say it, but Whitty, it's a great loss for the Bears. I'm with Stugotz.
Woody, if they won, you say, oh, you don't want to waste those hits on losses. If they won, they still wouldn't be good enough to make the playoffs anyway. So you're still in this weird, terrible place. No. You want competitive losses because competitive losses sends the message, guys, we're this close. We're like a piece away. Or even just age, maybe a little bit more experience in execution. We'll be there next year. You don't want blowouts. Blowouts are like, man, we're nowhere near.
they lost the Dolphins by 3, the
That's a
Lions
good
by
loss.
1. Those are great losses.
I think
Might as well win
this
it.
most recent NFL offseason gave us insight as to how do you template and go for it when you feel like you have a good team and you have either good surrounding talent or you have a quarterback that you're not sure of. The Dolphins and Eagles absolutely went for it and gave their quarterbacks the best possible supporting cast that they could through trades, through using their draft capital to acquire some talent. And now you have a situation which you feel like you can fairly evaluate Tua and you can fairly evaluate Jalen Hurts. However, you have the other situations where, hey, we're just a quarterback away. And Denver just totally screwed the pooch there.
Yeah.
We'll find out what happens with Cleveland, where we all thought that was a good team that was a quarterback away. We'll see if it ends up working out for them.
Ask any fan of a team that's been middle of the pack for like 4 or 5 seasons in a row. They'd
How
trade.
about 20?
They would trade some of
How
those.
about 20?
They would trade some of those wins to go. Instead of 8-8, you go 6-10, and you get a little bit better draft position. You get a guy who's a franchise player for the future. Speaking, of course, from experience, because this is what the Steelers have done for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin's ability to coach through all of the quarterback issues has probably hurt them a little bit because they haven't had great draft stock, and so they've gotten really good players, but they haven't gotten elite franchise players to the degree that they could have if they had just tanked a season.
Woody, you're good in part because you were so bad. You were so
Correct.
bad that it got you
Correct.
Tua. You were so bad that it got you Waddle. You were so bad that it got you a talented football team.
It wasn't all just that. Like they made
was part of it.
the Tunsil trade, regardless of them being good or bad, was
Correct.
immense.
Right. It completely changed the franchise. But again, once you have Tua or once you have the quarterback, then you stop caring about losing. You have Fields. Go win.
Yeah, you gotta-
even if it's
they
with
didn't
even if
figure
it's
out
with
how
a
to
shit
play with
Bears
him
team.
until 2 weeks ago.
Precisely.
I know.
It's
Right.
not like he's been playing this way since week 1. That's a completely different conversation.
They figured out how to use
They've
it.
been able
I
to
mean,
figure out how to play to his strengths, and now you see the player that he was promised to be when he came out of Ohio State.
and it's encouraging whether they win or lose.
It's too
all
late.
I'm saying
It's
is
too late,
don't
though.
enjoy losing
Enjoy
with Justin Fields.
Enjoy the good losses. Enjoy them.
Because now you-
savor them.
now you
Can I
have
enjoy
assets.
it just for this year, though? I mean, next year, you're right. But this year, enjoy the losses.
They are rock bottom of the NFC, and they currently hold the 6th draft position. So it could. You're right. It could help them in the future. If I have Justin Fields, I want to see that dude win every week.
I love a good loss.
Well, there is one course of action that the Bears could take, and that's what the Chargers did, which is do absolutely nothing when you have a quarterback you feel good about.
I mean, everyone's hurt, Mike.
They didn't do
Including
anything
the
that. I mean,
You're
yeah,
right. You're right.
They had Khalil Mack, but Bosa's out like he always is. They did nothing.